Hey, Skull Nation. What's up, my fellow Vikings diehards? You know that heart-pounding rush when we're one play away from glory, but the QB spot feels like it's auditioning for a horror movie? Buckle up, because today's Vikings news dive is all about our signal callers driving us absolutely wild this 2025 season. I'm talking McCarthy's flashes of fire mixed with frustrating fumbles. And yeah, even Carson Wentz's veteran grit before that shoulder sidelined him for the year. But hold on. Did you catch that epic meltdown against the Bears last Sunday? It's got us screaming, but there's a game-changing blueprint hidden in there that could flip the script on our offense. Stick with me through these 15 beats of purple pride, and let's unpack how tempo might just be the secret sauce to unleash McCarthy. Who's ready to skull through this chaos? Quarterback play is hands down the Minnesota Vikings' biggest headache this season. Folks, no sugarcoating it. We've got two guys under center, McCarthy and Carson Wentz stepping in during the rookie's injury spells, and neither has lit the league on fire consistently. Sure, there've been those electric stretches where McCarthy lasers one to Jefferson or Wentz threads the needle under pressure, but man, the inconsistency has got coaches pacing sidelines and fans like us ripping our purple jerseys in frustration. Inside the US Bank Stadium bubble and out here in Vikings Nation, everyone's losing sleep over it. Remember Week 2 against Atlanta? McCarthy's ankle tweak forced Wentz in, and while he scrapped for a couple W's, his turnovers piled up like snow in January. Stats don't lie. Our QBs are hovering around a 58% completion rate team-wide, dead last in the NFC North. But hey, what if I told you there's a fix staring us right in the face from that brutal Bears loss? That Sunday afternoon heartbreaker against Chicago? Oof, it dragged our QB room through the mud like a frozen tundra practice. McCarthy, back in the saddle post-ankle rehab, looked like a deer in headlights for most of it. 50% completion, 2 picks that had me yelling at my screen louder than a Vikes tailgate. Wentz's absence due to that nagging shoulder meant all eyes on the kid. And those misses? They straight up cost us the game, turning potential drives into 3-and-outs. But Vikings fans, don't toss your foam finger yet. This wasn't all doom. Buried in the wreckage was a spark. One drive where McCarthy actually moved the chains like the Michigan maestro we drafted him to be. It wasn't magic. It was method. And if Kevin O'Connell plays his cards right, this could be the tempo tweak that turns our season from what if to watch out. You feeling that purple pulse yet? Drop in the comments. Was McCarthy's rough patch just rust? Or do we need a full reset? Now, let's zoom in on those intriguing nuggets from McCarthy's Bears battle, because Vikings news doesn't sleep on the details. He was wildly up and down, ripping frozen ropes over the middle to Justin Jefferson. That 28-yard beauty had me jumping, and nearly connecting with Jordan Addison on a sideline dart that got stonewalled by gloves of stone. But those whiffs? Brutal. Accuracy dipping to 50% and those 2 interceptions? One tipped, sure, but the other was a telegraph slant that screamed, rookie jitters. Still, credit where it's due. The kid read the field like a vet on a couple snaps, progressing hot off the snap against that Bears D-line. It's these flashes that keep us hooked. McCarthy's arm talent is elite, with a 92 miles per hour zip on those deep balls per next-gen stats. But the real separator, that final drive where everything clicked, it wasn't the play calls, it was the pace. Tempo turned the chaos into rhythm, and suddenly, our offense hummed like a well-oiled Harley. What do you think, Skull fam? Could upping the no-huddle be McCarthy's MVP move? Picture this. The clock ticking down, Bears defense gasping, and the Vikings offense finally finding its groove in that last push. What flipped the switch? Tempo, baby, pure, relentless no-huddle magic that had Chicago's secondary scrambling like lost tourists at Mall of America. McCarthy orchestrated a 75-yard march in under 2 minutes, hitting short slants to Hawthorne and a bootleg keeper that gobbled chunks. Completion rate jumped to 80% on that drive, 0 picks, and it felt like vintage KOC scheming. But here's the kicker. You can't ride that pony every snap. It's exhausting for the O-line and not sustainable week to week. Still, as a confidence builder, gold. It forces quicker decisions, cuts down on overthinking, and oddly, slows the mental game for a guy whose brain's spinning at warp speed. We've seen it work for vets like Cousins back in the day. Why not for JJ? Imagine blending this with our run game's thunder, Aaron Jones rumbling behind that tempo wall. Who's with me on petitioning O'Connell for more? Hit the comments. Diving deeper into McCarthy's mechanics, because Vikings news is all about those film room truths that make or break a season. His lower half is a hot mess right now. Feet flailing like he's dancing at a wedding after one too many IPAs. The NFL whistle blows and bam, the game's moving too fast. His base spreads wide, back leg swings wild like he's chucking a 100 miles per hour heater, not a football. Arm talents there, sure, those over-the-middle lasers to JJ prove it, but without planted feet, accuracy tanks. Stats back it. When his base is narrow and under him, completion jumps 15% per PFF breakdowns. Against the Bears, those early misses, all tied to happy feet under pressure. But flip to that tempo drive, and watch feet settle, posture locks, and suddenly he's dropping dimes clean as a whistle. It's not rocket science, it's fundamentals. And if we harness tempo to drill that rhythm, McCarthy could evolve from project to playmaker overnight. You seeing the vision here, Purple Warriors? It's wild how tempo doesn't just speed things up. It actually dials back the frenzy in McCarthy's head and hips. Think about it. In huddle mode, he's got eternity to second guess, feet fidgeting, processing lagging like a bad Zoom call. But no huddle? It demands snap-to-whistle urgency, calming those nerves by ritualizing the rush. We've got the personnel for it. Addison and Jefferson thriving in quick hits, Nair sealing edges on the line. Wentz tried something similar in his starts pre-injury, hitting 62% on tempo snaps versus 54% in standard sets. For JJ, it's prescription meds for his processing speed, which clocks at 2.8 seconds to throw solid but not elite yet. Layer in those great practice days O'Connell raved about, and boom, a blueprint for consistency. But can KOC balance it without burning out the trenches? That's the million-dollar question, Skull Nation. What's your take? Risk the fatigue for the fire. Let's channel McCarthy's own words here, because this kid's got the self-awareness of a vet twice his age, and it's pure Vikings news inspiration. Post-Bears, he dropped this gem. How can I remain poised, remain present, and just worry about the little things like my footwork and my fundamentals? Take it each play by each play, and we'll see where we get at the end of it. Chills, right? That's not rookie deflection. That's ownership, the kind that screams franchise future. He's pinpointing the feet fiasco himself, admitting the game's tempo's overwhelming his setup. But those flashes, over-the-middle daggers to JJ, that poised pocket presence on the final drive, they're not flukes. With 12 TDs to 8 INTs in his limited 2025 action so far, the raw tools are there. Tempo could be his anchor, turning play-by-play into a symphony. Imagine him channeling this mindset in London Week 5. Global Skull vibes. Head coach Kevin O'Connell, our QB whisperer extraordinaire, lit up the post-game presser with praise that had Vikings Nation buzzing. He spotlighted McCarthy's 2 stellar practice days pre-Bears. Whether it's just the initial posture, where we've just learned that when he has great posture, at the top of drops, he throws the ball really well. He did it Friday, did it Thursday, and I even referenced on Friday the type of practices we had. KOC's not blowing smoke. This is the coach who revived Darnold in 24, and now he's tailoring the script for JJ. Those sessions? Laser-focused on base and balance, with McCarthy hitting 70% in team drills. It's no coincidence the tempo drive mirrored that polish. With Wentz out for shoulder surgery, the room's all in on McCarthy's growth, backed by rookie Max Brosmer as safety net. O'Connell's blueprint? Tempo as the tempo setter. Who's fired up for this evolution? Envision the ripple effect if McCarthy masters this tempo trick. It's not just QB1 glow up. It's a full Vikings trajectory shift. Right now, we're 5-5, clawing for that NFC North crown. But inconsistencies capped our ceiling at playoff maybe. Dial in rhythm, build that confidence brick by snap, and suddenly we're humming at 65% completion, top 10 in yards per drive. Jefferson's already feasting. 85 catches, 1,200 yards. But pair him with tempo slants? Unstoppable. Addison's YAC beast mode amplifies too. We've seen tempo juice offenses before. Think Mahomes' Chiefs averaging 30 points in no-huddle bursts. For Minnesota, it's minimizing those wide base whiffs, slowing the mental merry-go-round. Late season surge incoming? Absolutely. But it starts with buy-in from the line. Do they have the legs? Skol fam, sound off. Tempo full-time or situational spice? Flashback to Wentz's stint, because even with his season-ending shoulder surgery looming, he showed tempo's universal appeal in the Vikings system. Before that Chargers blowout sidelined him, Wentz thrived in quick cadences. 2 TDs in his first relief drive against Cincy, all no-huddle. His 2-3 record as starter? Bumpy, sure, with a 59% clip and those painful picks, but tempo snaps? 68% efficiency per advanced metrics. It minimized his hitch under pressure, much like it could for McCarthy's feet. Wentz's grit, playing through shoulder fire for 5 starts, earned locker room respect, and his film sessions with JJ? Gold for development. Now, with him prepping for rehab and family joys, congrats on Baby 4. The torch passes fully. Vikings news honors the vet, but eyes on the kid. Did Wentz's flashes prove tempo's the cure-all? Tying it back to McCarthy's Bears blueprint, that final drive wasn't luck. It was tempo taming the tempest. Feet planted firm, no wild swings. He hit a 15-yard out to Valentine like it was backyard toss. Completion? Crisp. Processing? Snappy. It's the anti-chaos serum for a guy whose lower half mechanics scream work in progress. O'Connell's harping on posture for a reason. Great base means great balls, as Thursday and Friday practices proved. Extrapolate that. 10 to 15 tempo snaps per game could boost confidence, cut INTs by 20%. We've got the weapons. Hawkinson's back from IR, ready to block and catch in rhythm. But risks? O-line fatigue in a division with beast fronts like Detroit's. Still, for a 2025 squad built around JJ's upside, it's worth the gamble. You buying this as our turning point? Now, let's get real interactive. Skull Nation. Picture McCarthy under center, no-huddle barking. Bears D-bending but not breaking until it does. That's the story we're scripting, but it needs your voice. What's the one tweak you'd force on KOC tomorrow? More tempo? Or double down on footwork drills? Comments below. I'm reading everyone, and the best gets a shout-out next vid. This inconsistency's tested us, from Wentz's warrior starts to JJ's ankle setbacks, but it's forging fire. Stats scream potential. McCarthy's 92 miles per hour arm velocity tops rookies, and tempo could unlock it without the Wild West feat. As we stare down Detroit next, this blueprint feels like destiny. Who's chanting Skol with me right now? Wrapping this Vikings news whirlwind, that Bears loss stung like a MetLife blizzard, but it gifted us the tempo truth. McCarthy's misses, those 50% clunks and picks, highlighted the footwork fiasco, but the final drive? A teaser trailer for dominance. No huddle calmed the storm, base locked, throws popping like fireworks. O'Connell's practice props and JJ's poised reflection seal it. Fundamentals plus pace equals playoffs. With Wentz cheering from rehab, the room's primed. We've weathered QB storms before. This one's brewing a hurricane of hype. Final stat to chew on. Teams using 25% plus tempo snaps average 4.2 yards per play more in clutch moments. That's us, Vikings Nation. Poised for the present, charging for the future. All right, Purple Heart Squad. We've dissected the drama. From McCarthy's mechanical mayhem to tempo's triumphant tease. What a ride! If this fired you up half as much as me, smash that like button harder than a Thielen stiff arm. Drop your hottest take in the comments. Tempo savior or gimmick? Who's our QB1 for the long haul? Hit subscribe for daily doses of Vikings news straight from the heart of Skull Country. Don't miss the next breakdown. Share this with your fantasy league rival or that Packers fan uncle. Let's spread the purple gospel. Until next time, keep the faith, stay rowdy, and remember, Skol Vikings.